So Dana White is finally, or shall I say officially, stepped in to the boxing orbit. Guys, Dana White has been working, as you guys, or most of you guys are aware, and I've covered it in some of my videos before. He's been working with guys like Nick Khan, Endeavor, TKO. He's been working with His Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh, the folks over at Paramount. I mean, he's working with a lot of big players, guys, to try to get Zuffa Entertainment off the ground. And Zuffa now officially is going to have its first fight, and it's going to be headlined, guys, at the Apex in Las Vegas, guys, on the 23rd of January. It's upcoming, and it's going to be headlined by a junior middleweight bout between none other than Callum King Walsh. He's going to be taking on Carlos Ocampo. It's going to be absolutely crazy. And all of this is happening one day before UFC 324. That's going to be happening at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas as well. So, guys, there's a lot that's happening. Dana's going to be absolutely super busy. Remember, this isn't just a boxing fight, guys. This is Dana White. Dana White stepping into the world of boxing. And Callum Walsh is the guy that he's betting on. All right? I mean, to start with, Callum is an incredible fighter, guys. This guy is 15-0-0. All right? He's young. He's only 24 years old. He fights out of Ireland. This guy's fighting, he's 6 feet tall. He's got a reach of about 72 inches. And, man, this guy looks incredible. And he's going to be taking on Carlos Ocampo, who's fighting out of Mexico. And he's 30 years old. Okay, so there's a difference of about 6 years. But he's got a reach advantage of about 73 inches. And he's 5'11". So both of these guys are about the same height, kind of. And about the same weight as well, too. I think we got Carlos clocked in at about 160 pounds, or just shy of that. So a few pounds heavier than Callum Walsh. But both of these guys are incredible. Now, look, Ocampo's been the busier of the two. He's got a record of 38-3-0. A very, very impressive record. And, one thing I got to hand it to Dana White. And one of the great things that he does, with the UFC, is he doesn't shy away from fights. He doesn't like to sandbag fights for a later day or a better card, so to speak. For the sake of pay-per-view dollars, he doesn't. Obviously, all that matters, but he doesn't cheat the system. When it comes time for a fight, he puts on the best of the best fights. He wants to maximize every event that he has in front of him to its fullest potential, and he doesn't sandbag shit. Okay? So when he's looking at potential opponents, fighters, he wants the best of the best. And I think, honestly, this is a great match. Here on one side, you got an undefeated young Callum Walsh, and then you've got Carlos Ocampo, who's kind of like a seasoned veteran. He's got 38 notches under his belt with only 3 losses, and this guy's ready to dance. He's ready to go. So I think it's going to be a very, very interesting match. So I'm excited, and guys, I'm telling you, this is going to be a fantastic fight. I can't wait. Again, it's happening on UFC 324 fight weekend. This is going to be absolutely incredible. So folks, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Shiraz. I'm your host. This is Duality 7X. We cover all the craziest, all the biggest stories that are trending in the world of MMA, UFC, WWE, and boxing. And all that we ask, the only price of admission that we ask from you is that you smash a like and subscribe, like and share, and hit the bell notifications, ding, ding, so you guys never miss a beat. So the timing for this is not accidental, all right? Callum Walsh, all right, has been Dana White's boxing project, for years now, okay? UFC Fight Pass appearances, I remember, there's been a lot of different pressers and promotions, and now with Zuffa finally coming out into the world, entering the boxing space, so to speak. Walsh actually becomes the first standard bearer. So that's a huge honor. And what makes this fight ever so interesting is the fact that Callum himself is undefeated. He's ranked across multiple sanctioning bodies, and he's coming off of a very high-profile win. And look, if you guys remember Canelo Alvarez, Terrence Bud Crawford, having probably one of the most incredible matches ever in boxing. Well, on that same card, you were witness to see Callum Walsh's greatness. And I mean, that talent, guys, I'm telling you, is absolutely real. And so is his protection. Just take a look at this guy, right? I mean, he's incredible. Let me show you. Let me show you here. So look at this, 15-0-0. As I mentioned, he fights out of Ireland, 153.5 pounds. I mean, this guy's 24 years old. Unbelievable, right? 15 wins in a row. That's why they call him the king at such a young age. Yes, he deserves it, guys. Look at the guys that he's fought as well, right? And remember, the fight that the card that I was talking about, Canelo versus Crawford, Callum Walsh took on Fernando Vargas Jr. And Fernando, I mean, the Vargas family, they're legendary when it comes to boxing. Fernando Vargas Jr. himself, he's no pushover, right? He's definitely a good fighter. And before I get into that, this fight that's happening against him and Carlos, this is incredible, because these guys, like I said, these guys are very evenly matched. All right? And to the point where some people argue that Callum is actually this is his first real step into kind of like dangerous territory, right? Carlos Ocampo, he's, like I said, he's a veteran. He's very seasoned. He knows what he's doing. An experienced pressure fighter. He's been with, high top level opposition. This guy has classic boxing skill sets. Like, he's the kind of guy that could put on an unbelievable boxing clinic for you guys. He's got, he's the kind of guy that could actually put a stop to Callum Walsh very, very quickly. The thing though with Callum is that he's got, very fast hands. He's young. And but this is going to be the biggest name that Walsh has faced, so far. Ocampo has rarely been stopped. Okay, 4% of the people think that Ocampo is going to win. 96% are in favor of Walsh winning, and that too, a small margin of that think he's going to win by TKO. That's unbelievable, guys. It looks like it's already going to be a good card, right? But this is definitely going to be a real test to Callum's composure, his patience. We're going to get to learn a little bit more about Callum's stamina as well, too, because Carlos is one of those guys that can go the distance, right? So going the distance with a guy who likes to punch, a guy who likes to box, that could be a little bit challenging for a lot of fighters. So now we'll get to see how well Callum is going to be in that kind of adversity, right? A win here will definitely push Walsh firmly into world level conversation. A loss won't be so good for this young fighter, but the fact that he's young, he'll be able to move past it, obviously. So yeah, the question will come down to, is this fight is going to help us be able to ascertain, is Callum still just a prospect, or is he the real deal? And if he's ready for bigger and tougher conversations. When I was looking at Callum's fight history, we're talking about Fernando Vargas Jr. He won that fight by unanimous decision, right? And he so Walsh went the full 10 rounds with Fernando Vargas Jr., but he outboxed Vargas Jr. cleanly, right? He showed, for a young fighter, he showed a lot of maturity in that fight. His ring IQ was unbelievable. It was next level, right? He had a lot of discipline. Okay, he wasn't necessarily chasing a knockout. He was trying to outbox Fernando Vargas Jr. And if he had the opportunity to, then he was definitely capable of unleashing some very serious firepower to finish off Vargas Jr. early in that. But he was ready to go the full distance, and that he did. Vargas Jr. was game pretty much for him, Callum was very durable during that fight. He brought a lot of pressure, which I liked, and it was just relentless all the way through. It was unanimous. I mean, 10 rounds, I saw it as a completely one-sided fight. It was really good, The first, I guess the big test for Callum is going to be the first few rounds, right? I mean, that's a test with any fighter. He can prove, this is where he can legitimize his boxing prowess, I guess, if you want to say it. He can show to the world that he can win without relying on KO power, right? As long as he can control the distance between him and Ocampo, right? The timing and pace are going to be something that I'm going to watch for. I'm going to be looking at his foot work, his movements, and again, the biggest question is, yes, we know that he went 10 rounds with Fernando Vargas Jr., but now he's got to go the full distance with Carlos Ocampo, who's a seasoned fighter, who's fought some of the best in the industry. And so his stamina, his adaptability, his ability to change on the fly is going to definitely come into question, right? So anyways, I think if Callum sticks to his game plan, his strategy, and if he doesn't try to go in there to try to finish off Ocampo early and go in there with the same kind of strategy that he did when he fought Vargas Jr., I think he has a strong chance of winning this fight. So that's a little bit about that fight against Vargas. He took on Elias Espadas. That too was decision. It was technical. There was a head clash, unfortunately. That happened back last year as well too, earlier in the summer. And yeah, it really sucks when you have fights that stop, unfortunately, prematurely due to a technical stoppage, like in this case, a clash of heads. Walsh, though, however, was clearly ahead on rounds, right? And he was controlling the fight against Espadas the whole time through, so nobody really seen it as a concern. Yeah, it was short. It was a short fight, but I mean, Walsh was clearly the more dominant of the two guys. That was clear. Okay. So anyways, not the ending that a lot of people unfortunately wanted, but definitely it was a winning performance. And if you go back and if you actually watch that fight, you'll see that Walsh was landing the cleaner shots, the harder shots. He showed some very sharp fundamentals very early, and he just started to build that momentum, minute by minute. And I think that's the kind of stuff that kind of defines who Callum Walsh is. And can help him in the latter rounds especially. So that was pretty cool. And then he took on Dean Sutherland. Yes, Carlos Ortiz. So yeah, he's fought some good fighters, guys. He fought Whitaker back in 2022. Yeah. So let's take a look at Carlos Chima Ocampo. So, I mean, this guy, again, as I mentioned, he's a few pounds heavier. He's a few pounds heavier than Walsh. He's also a few years older than him by 6 years. But he's got a lot more fights underneath his belt. Right? And just take a look at just look at this. Omar Rodriguez. I mean, Jorge Garcia, Adrian Pervez, Jesus Pervez, Bustamante. He fought, that was a unanimous decision. He lost to Errol Spence Jr. Back in 2018. But I mean, since 2018, And Fundora, yeah, he also lost to Fundora back in 2022. But he's matured a lot since then, guys. All right, and right now he's currently on a 3-win streak, and so this is going to be good. Ocampo is going to be stepping in as the more seasoned fighter, the more experienced fighter, right? He's obviously going to try to spoil the party for Callum Walsh, as early as he can. I mean, guys like Ocampo have been there before, right? I mean, big stage, younger prospect, high pressure situation. The whole world is watching. This is obviously Zuffa's first big crack at boxing. So there's obviously a lot of pressure on not just Callum, but on Ocampo as well, too. I mean, Ocampo's faced a lot of higher level competition than this before, right? I mean, he does seem to be very durable, very aggressive, and Ocampo's one of those guys. He doesn't wither away when the going gets tough. He actually gets comfortable under heavy fire, and so that alone is really going to challenge Walsh, because this guy can exchange. He can exchange with the best of them. So if Walsh wants to stand there in the middle of the ring with Ocampo and just start throwing haymakers, he's ready to exchange, and I don't think he'll have a problem. But Ocampo is going to try to expose Walsh's defense, or lack of it. He's going to try to do this in a very meticulous fashion. He's going to be very composed. He's got a lot of toughness. He's going to try to see if he can expose some cracks potentially in Walsh's defense. And if he does, that could get really, really difficult for Walsh over the course of the fight, right? So again, this is the kind of fight that Carlos Ocampo has been ready, has been building up towards. He's been fighting all around the world, and now he's finally got that big opportunity to be on the platform, and there's going to be all eyes on him and all eyes on his opponent, Callum Walsh. So it's going to be a very, very good fight. When I'm looking at I'm looking at some of these fights here, like Buñuelos, Montelango, like this loss though against So he's had 3 wins, but in his last 5 fights, only 1 loss. Last 6 fights, 4 wins, 2 losses. Interesting. Anyways, guys, he doesn't want to get off to a slow start. He's going to try to get in there as fast as he can. No, he doesn't want to finish this off early. He's going to have to obviously box Callum Walsh, because Callum Walsh knows how to box. But he's going to have to be very smart in how he starts throwing the power punches, because Callum can counter. He's got some heavy hands as well too, right? And so one of the big challenges that Ocampo had, although he did win against Buñuelos, that too he won in round 3 via KO. I think in that fight he was trying to do a little bit too much, but I mean it worked for him, because it didn't look like Buñuelos really had an answer to anything that he was trying to do. But at the end of the day, again, I don't think Ocampo needs to outbox Walsh. I think he just needs to make sure he knows how to box Walsh, and he's going to have to make sure that his timing is on par, that his movement is good, and he's going to be able to ascertain or quantify all of that within the first 3 minutes of taking on Callum Walsh, because then after that it's going to be game on, right? So anyways, he's going to try to make it as uncomfortable for Walsh as he can. But this is Zuffa's big crack right now, right? Zuffa wants maximum exposure with the most minimal amount of risk, like any other promoters want in their fights. This is going to be kind of like a UFC style promotion. And Walsh, I mean, look, Walsh doesn't just necessarily need to win. He needs to look dominant for Zuffa to make a statement on the boxing scene. Because honestly, guys, we're not really so concerned about the rankings right now. We're, I think, more concerned about the perception, about the optics of what's going on. So this is going to be very, very interesting. You could call it controlled risk, but Dana White knows a lot about what he's doing. And I think this could be the perfect showcase. Or it could be the wrong opponent at the wrong time. I don't know. At the end of the day, I have a good feeling about Callum Walsh's chances in this fight. And I'm going to say that he's going to win this fight. But that's just me. I want to hear from you guys. You tell me, did I miss something? Like, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that this is Callum's fight, or do you guys like agree with me that it's Callum's fight, or do you think that the veteran's gonna get pull one over on the younger fighter? So, anyways, guys, I want to hear your thoughts and comments. Please, if you want more breakdowns like this, guys, please make sure to smash the like button and subscribe, and join us here on Duality 7X for more real fight talk. I look forward to catching you guys on the next one.